Shedeur Sanders wasn't injured. He wasn't sidelined for rest. He simply wasn't playing. And just like that, the Cleveland Browns season opener became less about football and more about one question: why was the most talked about rookie quarterback in the NFL sitting on the sideline in a hoodie instead of commanding the field? No warning. No official report. Just a quiet name on the inactive list, and within seconds, the reaction was explosive. Twitter went full DEFCON 1. The Browns' Instagram comments section turned into a war zone. Sports radio lines jammed with fans screaming for answers. Shedeur Sanders' absence didn't just raise eyebrows, it ignited outrage. And suddenly, the conversation shifted. It wasn't just about the game anymore. It was about the franchise itself. If you're chasing the real story, the messy, behind-the-scenes twists the highlight reels never show, this is exactly why you hit subscribe. Because this isn't just about a rookie. This is a movement. Shedeur came into the league with hype that transcended stats. A Nike deal before a single NFL pass. Deion Sanders' bloodline, his own swagger, and a college career that flipped narratives and electrified crowds. He gave the Browns something rare in recent years: hope, and then, without explanation, he's benched. No football reason. Just speculation. And the theories came fast. Some say it's strategic, the Browns easing him in, not wanting to throw him to the wolves too early. Others whisper of punishment, missed meetings, posts ownership didn't like, a subtle reminder that nobody is bigger than the brand. Some even floated the idea that it was a lesson in humility, a calculated move to remind the kid that fame and hype don't play on Sundays. Fans didn't just wonder what happened, they questioned the entire organization. Why is a franchise with so much potential still mired in confusion? How could the most promising rookie in decades be sidelined in silence? And in the midst of it all, Shedeur Sanders' hoodie on the sidelines became the symbol of the chaos, the spark for debate, and the fuel for every rumor imaginable. This isn't just football drama. This is the story of Shedeur Sanders, the Browns, and a season opener that instantly became about everything but the game. And trust me, if you're ready to follow the twists, the theories, and the showdown between hype, talent, and management, you won't want to miss a single second. But let's be real, this didn't feel strategic. It felt personal. It felt political. You don't spend an entire offseason promoting a rookie quarterback as the face of your franchise: billboards, promos, national interviews, and then bench him without warning, unless something's bubbling behind the scenes. And if you've been paying attention, you know it's been simmering for weeks. Kevin Stefanski hasn't exactly hidden his preference for Dillon Gabriel, the safer pick, the system guy, the one who follows the script. Shedeur Sanders? He writes the script. And in a league still run by coaches and executives uncomfortable with players who shine outside the playbook and the press conference, that's a problem, because Shedeur isn't just talented, he's visible. Camera ready, media savvy, fashion forward, quote perfect, and with a fan base that hangs on his every play. That kind of magnetism makes old school football minds uneasy. Power in the hands of a 22-year-old rookie with a million-watt smile and a $10 million shoe deal doesn't sit well in traditional locker rooms. So yeah, maybe it wasn't a pulled hamstring. Maybe it was a pulled ego. Someone's power move to remind the kid who's really in charge. And the timing? Brutal. The Browns had a prime opportunity to launch a new era, season opener, divisional rival, all eyes on Cincinnati. This was supposed to be Shedeur's moment, his debut, the first chapter in the next-generation quarterback story. Instead, he sat on the sideline, helmet off, face blank, trying not to let the cameras catch whatever storm was brewing behind those eyes. Meanwhile, the Browns' offense stagnated, predictable, mechanical, the same checkdown circus that has defined their identity for years, and as the fans booed the play calling, you could practically feel the questions hanging in the air like fog off Lake Erie. Would Shedeur have made that throw? Would he have extended that play? Would he have flipped the script that this team has been trapped in for far too long? The season opener wasn't just a game anymore, it was a glimpse of what could have been, and a stark reminder of just how much control still rests in the hands of those unwilling to let a rookie rewrite the story. Why isn't he out there? It wasn't just about missing a quarterback. It was about missing the moment. And here's where it gets deeper. This situation isn't just a game day decision. It's a reflection of a larger cultural tension rippling through the NFL right now, the clash between traditional football hierarchy and the modern athlete's media machine. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a brand. A symbol of where this league is headed. Personality, presence, and power off the field as much as on it. And not everyone likes that. There are coaches who still believe rookies should earn it quietly, that leadership is built through silence and humility. But Shedeur? He's been leading for years, in stadiums that doubted him, in programs that needed a spark under pressure most veterans never had to face. And he didn't just lead, he thrived. So when the Browns sidelined him, it didn't feel like strategy. It felt like suppression. Like someone trying to put a lid on a boiling pot, hoping the pressure would just disappear. Spoiler alert, it didn't. If anything, it made things worse. The locker room is noticing. Players see the work Shedeur puts in. They see the talent, the calm, the control, the readiness. And when that guy gets benched without explanation, it shakes trust. It creates a divide. Veterans start questioning who's really making the calls and why, and the fans. They're not forgetting this. Not when they've waited years for a quarterback they could believe in. Not when they finally had a jersey to buy that wouldn't feel outdated by week 5. Not when the stadium hummed with the kind of hope that only comes once in a generation. This wasn't just a missed debut. It was a missed opportunity. Does this mean Shedeur's career is doomed? Absolutely not. If anything, this setback adds another layer to his story. It makes his eventual rise even more compelling because if there's one thing we know about Sanders, it's that he doesn't stay sidelined for long. He's not waiting for a shot, he's forcing the issue. Every practice rep, every team meeting, every second in the film room, he's building his case. Not with drama, but with discipline. Not with ego, but with effort, and when that next chance comes, it won't be quiet. It'll be a storm. Because this isn't a guy who gets bitter, he gets better. Every setback he's faced so far has only sharpened the blade. So while the Browns juggle politics and play it safe, they're sitting on a gold mine that's growing more explosive by the week. The longer Shedeur stays inactive, the louder the questions get, the more obvious the cracks become, and eventually, something's got to give. Either the Browns embrace the future, or they watch it walk away. Because let's be honest, Shedeur doesn't need this franchise to succeed. But they desperately need him. And if they don't figure that out soon, they'll be nothing more than a footnote in a Hall of Fame story that started with a hoodie on a bench during a game that should have been legendary. Stay tuned. Because the weird part? It wasn't just Browns fans who were upset. By halftime, the Shedeur situation had eclipsed the game itself. ESPN was circling it. Commentators kept referencing his absence like it was an elephant in the broadcast booth. This offense looks like it could use a spark, someone like Shedeur Sanders, they said, tiptoeing around the real question everyone was asking. What are they hiding? Because let's face it, if it was injury-related, they would have said so. If it was about performance, preseason stats would have been cited. But the silence, the oddly polished team statements, that's what fueled the fire. Suddenly, the Browns weren't just a football team. They were a mystery, a PR disaster, a franchise that somehow turned its most exciting asset into a punchline overnight, and here's where it gets even messier. Nike was watching. Yeah, that Nike, the same brand that dropped a massive rookie deal on Shedeur as if he were the next LeBron of the gridiron. Limited edition merch was printed. Social campaigns were cued. Product drops were timed with his first start. And now, all of that was in limbo because someone in the Browns building decided that today wasn't his day. If you don't think that's a problem, you haven't been paying attention to modern sports. Brands aren't just sponsors, they're stakeholders. You don't sign a deal like Shedeur's and sit him in the shadows. You're meant to be on the field, front and center, prime time, high definition. This wasn't just a coaching decision, it was a business misstep, a disconnect between football logic and media empire. And Shedeur? He's stuck in the middle. Here's a guy who's done everything right, put in the work, stayed out of trouble, led by example. And somehow, he's the one paying the price for other people's politics. You could feel the tide turning. NFL veterans weighing in. Players tweeting cryptic Frito messages. Former pros calling out the move on sports talk shows. Even Shedeur's college teammates chiming in with side-eye emojis and subtle digs, because they know him. They know the competitor, the teammate, the force who shifts the status quo, and maybe that's what this is really about, fear. Let's be honest, Shedeur walks into a room and it shifts. He steps onto a field and defenders adjust. He doesn't just play the game. He changes it. And somewhere behind the scenes, that's exactly what's making the powers that be uneasy. He's not just another rookie. He's a presence, and that scares people. Especially in a league that still wants its quarterbacks humble, quiet, and easy to control. But Shedeur? He doesn't play small to make anyone else comfortable. He's not blending in with clipboard-holding backups or waiting his turn like rookies are supposed to. He's trying to lead right now. And apparently, that's the problem. Want another wrinkle? Let's talk about the locker room. Sources, whispers, anonymous quotes, and side texts from league insiders suggest this isn't just a Shedeur versus Stefanski issue. There's a divide forming. On one side, veterans who see the bigger picture. Guys who know the team needs a spark, and fast. Players who've watched him carve up defenses in practice, throw lasers during scrimmages, and command the offense like a 5-year vet. These are the players who just want to win, and they don't care if the quarterback is flashy as long as he moves the chains. On the other side, traditionalists. Coaches. Quiet players who don't like all the noise. They see Shedeur's social media, his brand, his celebrity, and they call it a distraction. They want discipline, not documentaries. Process, not prime time, and that's where it gets dangerous. When a locker room splits over the quarterback question, everything else crumbles. Culture. Chemistry. Cohesion. Gone. All because someone somewhere decided Shedeur's time hadn't come yet. But maybe the most shocking part? Shedeur hasn't said a word. No tweets. No interviews. No cryptic Instagram story like some other athletes might. He's letting the silence speak. Letting the fans rage on his behalf. Letting his play, when it comes, do the talking. That's not immaturity, it's strategy. He knows the cameras are coming back. He knows reporters will swarm when the Browns eventually give him the start, and when they do, he'll hold all the leverage. Because now, it's not just a debut, it's a redemption arc. The fans need it. The league wants it. The media is starving for it. Every snap will hit differently. Every completion carries extra weight. Every touchdown? A receipt cashed in full, and if you're Kevin Stefanski, that's the nightmare scenario. How do you manage a team when the quarterback holds every card? How do you justify the benching when your starter throws 2 picks and the entire stadium is chanting someone else's name? How do you pretend this was part of the plan when your own fan base starts calling for your job? This isn't just a quarterback controversy. It's a cultural rebellion. The NFL is changing whether they like it or not. Old models are collapsing. The days of keeping stars in the shadows until ready are over. Fans want transparency. They want access. They want athletes who are real, vocal, and visible. And Shedeur? He's the prototype. So what's next? Do the Browns lean into the future, or cling to the past? Do they let Shedeur cook, or keep him boxed in because of some imaginary timeline? The clock is ticking, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Here's the truth no one in that building wants to say out loud: you can only delay destiny for so long. The fans see it. The league sees it. The money sees it. And soon enough, the Browns will have to decide, do they let this kid change the game, or do they become the cautionary tale? The franchise that had the next big thing and buried him in the inactive column. One thing's for sure, Shedeur Sanders isn't going anywhere. And if you thought benching him would silence the hype, you just made it louder. By Monday morning, Cleveland wasn't just hungover from a disappointing season opener, it was boiling over. Local sports talk shows abandoned game recaps. The score almost didn't matter anymore. It was all Shedeur, all the time. Even the morning traffic report casually dropped, Shedeur watch, day 2, like this was a hostage crisis instead of a quarterback benching. And the craziest part? People who don't care about football were talking about it. This wasn't just a sports story anymore. It was a culture story. A story about celebrity, control, and the uncomfortable questions most NFL franchises would rather sweep under the rug. Like, who actually controls the Cleveland Browns? Here's something fans didn't realize: the decision to bench Shedeur reportedly blindsided ownership. Multiple sources close to the team, by sources, we mean Reddit sleuths digging through family barbershops and social channels, claimed the front office had no idea he wouldn't be active until just hours before kickoff. And that's where the tension starts to bubble. This isn't just a controversial coaching decision anymore. It's a full-blown power struggle. Ownership wants ratings, relevance, and revenue. The coaching staff wants control. And in the middle of it all is a 21-year-old quarterback who just wants to play football and is being treated like a chess piece in a battle way above his pay grade. You could feel it in the building. Reporters at practice said the vibes were tense. NFL speak for people are definitely yelling behind closed doors. Veteran players didn't stick around after film sessions. Some even canceled media availability altogether. Everyone's walking on eggshells because no one wants to be the first to say it out loud. Here's the truth: this isn't sustainable. You can't have your most marketable, most exciting, arguably most talented player sitting on the bench without giving anyone a clear reason why, because every day he sits, the questions multiply. Is this really about football? Or is it about fear? Fear that Shedeur is bigger than the playbook. Fear that his confidence and style challenge the league and the coaching staff's old-school methods. Fear that once he starts, there's no going back. Let's zoom out. This isn't the first time a flashy rookie threatened the old order. Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. They sold jerseys, filled stadiums, and changed offenses forever. Shedeur is cut from the same cloth, but with a key difference. He came into the league with brand power most rookies don't build until year 5. This isn't just about a quarterback wanting to start. This is about a quarterback who could shift the balance of power in an NFL franchise, and for Kevin Stefanski, a coach who has fought for every inch of job security in Cleveland, the type of player is both a dream and a threat. If Shedeur starts and wins, it's his team. The cameras follow him. The fans chant his name. He becomes the face of the franchise, not Stefanski, not the GM, not anyone else. If he starts and loses, well, Stefanski is probably still in trouble. So maybe the logic is, slow play the rookie rather than hitch your career to a spotlight the size of Texas. Here's the catch: the longer you stall, the worse it gets. Shedeur Sanders isn't fading. He isn't discouraged. He isn't going anywhere. Deion Sanders' son didn't learn to wilt under pressure. Transferring schools, stepping into media frenzies, handling criticism on every platform, he was forged for this. Pressure isn't a threat, it's fuel, and while the Browns are busy holding meetings about narrative control, Shedeur is quietly stacking reasons to start. He's winning over the locker room. He's building his case. Every practice rep, every meeting, every film session adds to his argument. And when the day comes, he won't just play, he'll shift the entire narrative. One rep, one throw. One no-look dime at a Wednesday walkthrough at a time. The coaches know it, the players know it. And most importantly, he knows it, and when that moment comes, when he finally takes the field and the stadium roars louder than it has in a decade, it won't be just a debut. Because the Browns aren't just deciding whether to start a rookie QB. They're deciding whether to evolve or remain stuck in a cycle that's buried more quarterbacks than any team in the last 20 years. Other teams are watching too. Franchises that would kill for a quarterback with his arm, his mind, his presence. You don't think the Falcons or the Raiders would pick up the phone tomorrow if Shedeur's camp even hinted at a trade? And you don't think Nike, the networks, and the fans would follow? Let's not get it twisted. Shedeur doesn't owe the Browns loyalty. He chose to be part of this rebuild. He bought into the vision. He accepted the challenge. But loyalty is a two-way street. And right now, Cleveland isn't holding up its end of the deal. So yeah, the benching is about football, but it's also about respect. It's about trust. It's about who gets to decide the future of a franchise, the guys in suits, or the guys who show up when it matters. And if the Browns don't figure that out soon, they're not just going to lose games, they're going to lose the moment. And in today's NFL, That's something you don't get back.